if I wanted to make $10,000 a month as a student, I do exactly this. So I was a student, I'm not one anymore, and I'm making well over $10,000 a month. So I feel like I have the credibility to talk on this subject, right? And so in this video, I'll explain exactly what I would do if I was starting over again, just to shorten the process even more. But yeah, I made it happen in less than 3 months. So it's definitely possible, but the first point I want to mention to you is to extend your timeline. I know I just mentioned, I made it happen in 3 months, but if you can extend your timeline, right, you will have patience for the long term, which is extremely important, but you also need to have urgency for the short term, all right? So by extending the timeline, you don't just want to, be lazy and say, oh, I'll do it in 5 years. It's like, no, you still need to have urgency in the short term, but patience for the long term, right? It's a dichotomy you have to keep in your mind. You have to be able to, and this is very difficult for some people, you have to be able to hold 2 frames of mind in your mind. So you need to be able to not just, let's take, I don't want to talk about politics, but what's a good example? Let's just take politics. Like, I don't really know anything about that, but like the left wing and the right wing, like some people are like, oh, right wing all the way. Like, I don't even look at the other side. You have to be able to take both, you have to be able to take both parties into account and see where there's flaws in each one and also maybe, potential benefits in each one. So the same with this. You need to be able to have patience for the long term to see the benefits in that, to be able to think long term, but also short term urgency. See, most people are just short term urgent. They're like very greedy. They want money now, but they're not patient. But some people are just extremely patient and then they have no urgency in the long term. So you need both. All right. So when I was in college, my first year, I was like, what is this BS? Like, I did it for exactly 1 year. And I'm like, I studied this stuff 2-3 years ago. Like, why am I learning it again? And how is this going to make me money? Like, at that time, I just wanted to make money. Like, I was broke. I wanted to make money. As simple as that. There was no real reason behind it. I just wanted to make a lot of money. Like, that was all it came down to. I wanted more in my bank account. All right. And I was like, how is this going to get me more digits on my bank account? And maybe it would, 3-5 years down the line when I've gotten some job or something. But like, that was not the path I wanted to go down. So I dropped out and I was like, I'm going to figure this stuff out. So in this video, I want to shorten the process for you. That's all these videos are really for. It's just so you can, achieve your goals quicker. All right. That's my only goal with these videos. So number 2, you won't succeed if you're doing it as a side hustle. You need to go all in. All right. And this is extremely important. I see a lot of people, they go to college or they do like waitering or something, and they do like these odd jobs, like these side hustles. Never works. Never ever works. If you're doing a side hustle right now, it's gonna fail. I don't even care if I'm, saying this and, because I'm saying this, you're gonna fail. Like, it is gonna fail because you are going up against people who are doing this the second that they wake up until the second that they go to sleep, constantly. So you want to go against that guy where you're doing it as a side job, just like, I want to make some side money. It's like, what are you saying? Like, that's not going to work. It's not going to work because ultimately you are competing against other people for clients. So if you're just doing it as a side thing, like, if I've got like an hour spare a day, like I will work on this. Like, no, like you are going against people like me who's just constantly working from the second they wake up. It's like the first thought in my mind is like, yo, I want to work. And then as soon as I go to bed, I'm also doing work, like reading or something like that, which then fuels my work. So you can't compete against that. So you need to go all in. You can't do any side things. Like, please, if you're doing a side thing right now, side hustle, or YouTube videos on like the best side hustle to make $500 a month, like $500 a day, whatever, doesn't work. There's no such thing as a side hustle. You need to go all in with your business, all right? Because even if you go all in, you might fail. But I know I wouldn't fail. But like, even if you go all in, you can quit. Like, you will just fail. There's no such thing as failing. It's just you're gonna quit because you can't see the results. So you can't really justify your pain and sacrifice you're going through right now. You can't justify that. So you want to see results pretty quickly as you go along your journey. So that reinforces like, okay, this thing is actually working. All right. So that's why you need to go all in. So you see results quicker, and then ultimately you will see success quicker. All right. So number 3 is to start with a service-based business. So that means you are actually, you are providing your time, for a potential client. So when it comes to like a physical product, you're obviously giving the product to them. It's like a physical thing. But with a service-based business, it's just your time and energy. That's all you really have, like as a business owner, is your time and energy. Where you invest your time and energy, that's how your future will look like. If you invest time and energy into Netflix, like you're probably going to be unhealthy, just laying in bed all day. Like that's the life you're going to live. Obviously, every now and then, probably like once every 2 weeks, I watch like a Netflix series or something. But like the majority of my time is focused on things that will provide me with a better future, right? So going to the gym, going for walks, getting enough sunlight, tanning, sun exposure, that kind of thing, eating healthy, sauna, weights, like reading, working on my business, traveling, that kind of stuff. Like it will provide me with a better future, right? With life stories and that kind of thing. So you need to audit where your time is going, and that will dictate the future that you will get. All right. So back to the service-based business. All you have is time. You don't have any capital when you're starting out. So you don't have resources to build like a physical thing. Although it's possible, it's just going to be very difficult. That's why I would suggest to start with a service-based business, because all you have is time, and you can charge pretty high ticket for that, right? So for example, copywriting, paid ads, SEO, lead generation, organic content, social media management, that kind of thing, where it's just your time, and you can charge quite a lot for it, because you are essentially giving your life energy to this person, to like a potential client. All right. I think I added another thing here. Yeah, you can charge high ticket. Okay. With a physical product, it's pretty difficult to charge like, 50,000 Rand or $2,500 for something. Like people aren't necessarily going to buy that off a website. But if you're on a sales call, you also learn these skills of sales where you can charge high ticket for your services. And that also helps with your self-confidence, because like when you charge someone $2,500 and they say yes, it's like, wow, my time is worth quite a lot. Obviously, when you're starting out, that's like a quick jump, right? So it also builds up that confidence in yourself. So highly suggest starting a service-based business if you're a student. But first off, I would consider dropping out, because you obviously need to go all in, right? So number 4, I would prioritize learning as much as possible. So not just for your exams. Obviously, you're studying at the moment, studying these books that you don't necessarily want to study, but you're just studying it because you need to, pass this subject or whatever. Like I would prioritize learning books. So actually, let's see if I can have I have a list of like, I've got this notes right here of like so many books. Let's see if I can actually show you. Wait, let's see if I can do this. Just flip the camera. This is the quality that you're getting right here. So this is a list of all my books. So yeah, I prioritize learning a lot, right? So let's just flip this camera. Looks like I stopped the video for some reason, but we're back. So as you saw right there, I'm constantly reading. So when I wake up, I'm reading like or listening to an audiobook. And then when I go to sleep, in like an hour and a half before, I also read an audiobook. While I walk, I listen to an audiobook. So that's like 30 minutes in the morning. At night, another like, let's say an hour. So that's an hour and a half. And then while I'm walking, it's another half an hour. So that's 2 hours. And while I'm at the gym, that's another hour. So that's 3 hours. And while I'm driving, that's another like half an hour. So it's 3.5 hours of reading every single day. So, audiobooks, you can count that as reading, whatever. Like I'm listening to smart people 3.5 hours of my day. So it's extremely important, because you are a product of the ideas in your mind. So if you are, it's like the input-output equation. If you are just, filling yourself with good inputs in the form of smart people, books, right? You will have great outputs, which will be lots of money and pretty, I don't know what you call it, good decision making. All right. So yeah, highly suggest you read a lot of books, right? Prioritize learning, and not just your exams. In your spare time before you go to bed, don't scroll on TikTok or Reels. Like, what on earth are you doing? Read a book or listen to a book. And there's this new study where you might actually be retaining information even more if you listen to books, because in the ancestral days, like you would listen to stories around the campfire, and that's how you would actually remember stories and remember life lessons. So if you listen to audiobooks, you might even retain the information a bit better, and it's also less friction. Like when you're reading, it's a pretty, like, especially after you've done your work for the day and you're pretty tired, it's a lot of work to actually go read, like because it's the smart people you're listening to. Like your brain is just like, yo, I can't do this. But if you listen to an audiobook, it's much easier to digest as well. All right. So number 5, in my free time, I would only do outreach and sales calls. That's fundamentally all you really can do. And let's say you start a service-based business, which I would suggest. That's all you really can do is outreach, reaching out to potential clients, and then them booking a call on your calendar, and then you hopping on a sales call and closing them and making money, and obviously delivering the service. So that's all you would spend your time on is outreach, sales calls, and service delivery. Or you can outsource the service delivery as well. Also the appointment booking, but that's once you've signed some of your clients and you got some money to actually outsource to other people these tasks to other people. So that's all you should spend your time on. So if you're not studying or doing exams, see, that's the thing. It takes so much time. So that's why you need to. I would move back into my parents' house and then just work on this business, because then you have a lot of time. Time is the main thing. Time is the big thing. It's not like, oh, I'm just gonna, do this degree like this. Like I hear this all the time. I'm just gonna, do this degree so I have like something behind my name when this thing fails. Like, why are you already in such a defeat mindset? Like you already like, oh no, this is gonna fail. Like, why are you doing this degree thing? Like, are you doing it because you want to? Or are you doing it because someone like your parents or some other people are telling you to do it? So you already know the answer. I don't have to tell it to you. But like, then why are you still doing this thing? The main reason I dropped out is because I was like, I don't care about this degree thing. It's mostly the time. Like, it's taking so much time out of my day. It's like 6 hours a day commuting to there and back. Like then you have like this exams as well that you have to study for and actually write, and takes time. I can spend all that time to build a business that can make me money. Then I don't need the degree thing. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what I did. So where that time was spent, learning all the stupid stuff, I could spend that time into building my business. Every waking second was spent on growing this business. That's why I was able to achieve it so quickly, because there wasn't time spent on the stupid degree, right? And then I was making some money pretty quickly. So it was more about the time. It's not about this, oh, I need something behind my name. It's not about the money. It's just about the time. Time is your most valuable resource. It's finite. Like there's just a certain amount of years you have on this planet. So that is just stripped away. Like 4 or 5 years is stripped away, where you can build $1 million business in that time frame. In that exact time frame, I will build $1 million business. So, and obviously it's difficult, but I would rather take that chance than this other thing that I really did not want to do, right? So I also mentioned, leave the parties for later. Like you can do that later, that's fine, but for that specific period, I would say for at least 6 to 12 months, like you should be pretty ruthless. Like you should just execute daily, because you don't have time to waste. Now it's just this thing where now you get the degree and you're like, okay, when I get the degree, then I can start on my business. Cool, yeah, good plan. But now your parents are going to say, oh, you have this degree, start looking for a job. Now you're like, oh shit, like I want to start this business, and it's going to take some time. It's going to take like 6, 12, 24 months to get this business going. And now you got this degree, and then your parents are going to be like, oh no, like go get a job. Like, because you have that degree now, like you can make some money, and now you're stuck in this job. It's terrible. So please just listen to this video. All right. And so yeah, in my free time, only do outreach and sales calls. So, and number 6, I wouldn't stop until I made it happen, because there was no doubt I was failing with this thing. Like, what do you mean? Like, do you think I'm just going to go back to the degree, go back to that, which I already know, and it's going to be terrible? I know that. Then I'm going to have to work a job for years that I hate. Do you think I'm going back to that? Or rather just going through as much pain as possible to make this thing happen? Like, there was no losing. It was just not in the equation. I didn't think 1 second I was going to lose with this thing, because that meant I would go back to a job or a degree that I did not like at all, right? And do that for the rest of my year. Are you kidding me? So if you start this online business thing, how are you going to lose? It's impossible to lose. Would you rather go back to the degree and that's terrible for you, and you work like 60 years for a job you hate? Would you rather go back to that or just continue every single day until you make this thing happen? You can't lose. How are you going to lose? It's like, I always said from the absolute beginning, there's no chance I'm not becoming a multi-millionaire. Like, what do you mean? I don't know if this clicks to you. Maybe this sounds absolutely delusional, but I know there are some people that resonate with this. It's like, how are you going to live, let's say, 80 years on this planet and not become a multi-millionaire? How is that possible? It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know if this sounds anyway, like, I don't know if this sounds crazy, but like, that's just how I see the world. Like, obviously, like, okay, anyway. But yeah, that's essentially, that's a weird way to end this video on, but like, really, like, how are you going to lose? Like, because if you go back, I knew my soul would be crushed. My soul would die. Like, I would spiritually die. So it was either death or I was going to make this thing happen. That's what it came down to. I'm not kidding when I say this. Because I knew my soul would die, and I would probably, like, I don't know. I don't know if this YouTube thing, like, I would delete myself. I don't know if YouTube, like, looks at that stuff, but like, it was game over. Like, I would be in my grave, cheers. Because like, that's spiritual death for me. So it was rather get rich or die trying. What on earth? Like, so here's the outcomes. Let's just play it out. The one outcome is you win, you make it happen, you achieve the life of ultimate freedom, you make all the money you want to be making, you live a good life. Awesome, perfect. The other one is spiritual death. You die. So, and if you die, you wouldn't care because you did. So the only two outcomes is you win and make it happen, or you don't care. And it doesn't matter. So those are the only two outcomes. It doesn't matter, or you win. So please, if you really listen to this video and take it in, there's no way for you to lose. All right. So actually, in the middle, before I started filming this video, and the real ones watch the absolute end, because I can see the drop off is like crazy because people's attention span is just fried. If you can't listen to, like, I don't know, a 15-20 minute video, how on earth are you going to build a business? It's much more difficult to build a business than watch a 15 to 20 minute valuable video. All right. So I know the real ones watch to the end. I created a free community, which is not live yet. I know a lot of people message and DM and leave comments on the videos like, oh yeah, my request is still pending. It's like, bro, the community is not live yet. So it is up and running. So you could just go to school.com/Athens. It will be in the description as well. It's absolutely free. So I'm creating this right now for the entire South Africa, entire world. You can go through this, provide a lot of value. This is literally what I'm spending all my time on at this moment, and sales calls and like this video. So yeah, it will be live here around November. So just keep a watch. Just go to school.com/Athens. You can just request to join. We're not going to accept you yet because it's not done yet. But you will be added to the waiting list where we can then accept you and then send an email to you to say, okay, this is live. You can go through it, all that cool stuff. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, and then I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.